welcome to day 20. We are back out in the lovely sunshine today with another unique tree specimen. So I'll demo a tree, and this one is fun because it's really tilting, and if I show you the other sides of it, you'll see how far it's leaning over. It's leaning towards us, so we can't really get the full view of how it's tilting from here, but we're going to draw what we see and go from there. So I'm going to do 4 little tree sketches today, and I'm going to do a little boundary box for each one of them, and I'm just going to make the boxes in a little composition on the page like this, and that'll be where I put my trees. And this just forces me to kind of have the discipline to draw them the shape and size that I want them, make them look like little sketchbook pages sitting on top of each other. And so I just did that. I just drew some little boxes on my page. Now I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to start with a perspective circle right here where all those branches are kind of taking off, and I love just kind of putting a little circle there, getting the feeling of that ellipse and the way that it's turning. And then I'm going to draw the trunk down with that fun little angle that it has. I'm not putting in all the fun curvature yet. And I'm going to put another perspective circle in at the bottom where it's kind of coming into the ground but at an interesting angle. And once I get those things, I'm going to indicate the ground behind it. Once I get in those basic shapes, then I can start to add in the ellipses where the branches will come off the trunk, which is just pretty fun. It's like tentacles. In fact, the other night we did like a family drawing where branches will come off of those different ellipses. We did a family drawing where we started turning like the root structure of an imaginary tree into tentacles, and we all took turns, and it was kind of fun. So yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. Okay, so now I'm just going to start playing with these shapes, getting these branches out here. Make your sketchbook such an interesting place for yourself. You know, jot down your ideas and play with composition. Sketch things that are interesting to you, sketch things that are challenging to you, leave some mistakes so that you know what you need to work on. I think sometimes we just really want to cover up all our mistakes and make everything look brilliant, and the problem is we tend to make kind of common errors. I guess by that I mean we have particular drawing struggles that are unique to us, and sometimes, you know, we all struggle with the same thing, but we'll have particular tendencies, and if we're always covering them up, we can't really address them and see them in the right way. So you kind of want to keep some of those exposed so that you can actually learn from it and work on it. So I know the temptation is we just want everything to look awesome, and we're so used to, especially in this world we live in right now, everything's about kind of that exterior, and you have to be willing to have kind of the gritty work underneath all of that to get to those great looking pieces. And you know, most of the time we're kind of just consumed with the end result, but practice in it of itself is a beautiful thing. It's its whole own art, really. Just taking time for that, and just exploring, you know, be willing to, you know, make some mistakes and not just do what you're comfortable with every time. Do something different and learn something new about yourself and your environment and everything that you see. Okay, and then once I get this, I'll have some negative shapes around there, and then I can just put in branch shapes behind it. So I'm going to wrap this one up in the next few seconds, and we'll start on the next one. I'm just putting in some of the branches, and then yesterday's tree, you'll remember, had and look for the negative space between branches. That really helps as you draw branches. Look for the spaces in between the branches, and it'll help you know what those branches are up to. Now, yesterday we had the eucalyptus tree, which had those really downward pointing leaves, and today we have something totally different. We have pine needles that are kind of going down and up. It's a fun little shape, right? You see these branches, they curve down and they all go up. It's really cute, actually. There's tons of little pine cones in there. So we're not going to do all of them. We're just going to hit on a few. So I'm going to put one of the branches behind that I see, and I'm just going to do, you know, a few little strokes where you might see the dark side of these needles and this kind of down up pattern that we see. So look for those patterns, look for what makes this tree unique and like itself, and hit the accents points. Again, we're not worrying too much about getting the light and shade on there. We're continuing to work on our line quality, emphasizing perspective lines and which lines wrap over which, so that even with your lines, before you get to the values, you can begin creating a sense of 3 dimensions. So, all right, have a great time with that, and we'll have 4 more or 3 more in there for you.